And we are live. I'm here with referees Daniel Movahedi and Sam Amidi. Great to see you guys.
Hey, good to see
How you doing?
Glad everyone can hear me.
We've done a long sound
we'll
check with Dan. So we're hoping he's had the man out to his house. We're hoping all's going to go without a hitch today.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
He's finally paid for a decent upgrade of broadband.
Yeah,
welcome to 2020.
None of that dial up, yeah.
Frankie wanted to know if you've sorted your internet, Dan. It sounds like it, Frankie.
All right, Frankie, listen in. It should be an okay session today. Don't worry, mate.
Well, it's great to have you back on, guys. And obviously, I wanted to get you back on because you've just refereed at a UK MMA event, which was massive, Contenders 30, that was in Norwich on the 14th of August. It was the first driving event that I've ever heard of. And it looked like a bit of a spectacle from Facebook. Gutted I couldn't be there in person, but I wanted to have you on to tell us everything about the event. Tell us what it was like from your point of view, and maybe answer some criticism on the event as well. But first of all, how was it?
Go on, Amidi. I'll let you take the lead.
No. Go, you go for it.
Like obviously, like I said to you, like on the last show, obviously the event was last Friday, sorry. And you know it went well. I couldn't believe that I had to do another test, have something else prodded up my nose and down my throat, and having to be at home for 48 hours until they gave the all clear for us to be able to travel up there. But yeah, all in all, it was a good setup. Again, it was a different setup for all of us, especially like as officials, and I'm sure as fighters, you know, you're worrying about the weather, you're worrying about is it going to affect it? How's it going to be? Are the cars going to be too loud? Is the headlights going to annoy the fighters? Stuff like that, you know. But all in all, it was good. And I'd like to make a point. This geezer down here, however, this is coming out, tried to pull a prank on me and go, yeah, that he failed his COVID test. So I was like, shit. So after being at home for just a little over 48 hours, and you know, making sure everything's in place. Okay, this is how we're going to travel up. We're going to travel in our bubble group to be able to get up there. Yeah, he goes, oh, Dan, by the way, you might have to find another referee. I'm like, dude, how can I find another referee? Like, I can't do it. He's like, oh, no, they're trying to get you another test. They're trying to get me a quick, like, express test done. I'm like, what express test? And then something clicked. I thought, let me just call his bluff. I'm like, no, she's told me you haven't failed. So, yeah, but for a second, I was like...
So you were bluffing in that message then?
Yeah, I was a little bit, yeah.
Dan went into panic mode. He's like effing and blinding. I mean, I didn't show half the messages, but yeah.
And Sam, you actually had been travelling as well, hadn't you? So
yeah, I came back.
It was possible.
It was possible. It was possible, yeah. So I came back from Budapest from doing another event, 2-day event out there, but it was fine again out there. We got tested twice before we travelled out there, tested on the day when we arrived there. The only people that were allowed at the event were people that were tested. And they had these express tests as well, where you get your results back in I think it's 60 minutes or 30 minutes. So It was, it's pretty good. So everyone, including the extras they had, because I can't go into the show too much, but it was shot behind a green screen in the film studio, an actual full-on event. And they had obviously actors.
Oh, see?
Oh no!
See?
Oh no!
Yeah.
What happened?
Listen.
Who was it?
We lost you, Sam.
That's you.
We lost you.
Don't stop. How long did you lose me for? Where did I get up to?
You were behind the green screen.
Yeah. So we worked on the green screen. Actors and actresses everyone had to get tested. So the way they've done it is they've done an express test at the event. But yeah, you're right. Traveling to and from there was always a possibility of catching something. But thankfully, when I arrived back to the UK, I think we'd done our test on the Tuesday, right, Dan? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, got sent out on Tuesday evening.
Yeah, Tuesday evening. So I got told to obviously quarantine until we got our results back, and then once we got our results back, we travelled up.
Yeah. So there was a little bit of criticism surrounding. To me, it sounds more like a misunderstanding, but I believe it's Nick, the Contenders owner. He did a podcast, and he at the time he said he assumed there'd be a 72-hour quarantine, with a quarantine and then clean zone, but that would be dictated by the medics and the doctors that do the test. So at the time, he was saying that people would probably be quarantined. And
Katie,
I guess that
Katie, you're frozen. Dan, is Katie frozen?
I don't know. She don't seem to be working, mate. Anyway, I think what she said was something about the testing.
Well, I can't see. She's frozen on my screen.
I think she's frozen on my screen as well.
Oh dear.
Well, go on, answer the question she was saying anyway. We'll crack on. She'll come back online. Go on.
I don't know what she was saying. It froze.
Well, she was saying about the 72 hours. But if I don't know. Hopefully she can hear us. But if you're asking about the 72 hours, Katie, or if it was 48 hours, like, at the end of the day, like Nick said, they were getting medical advice of exactly what testing would be done. Like Sam just said, in Budapest, they who's put a no in?
Yeah. Sorry, Katie, we have to go on you.
No, but let's get back to it. So, you know, he was saying about, like Sam was just saying, coming out of Budapest, they had testing out of there. You could get the results back in 30 minutes. Where you might then, you know, sometimes you don't have to quarantine. But I think once they found out, we all got told that, look, these are the tests we're going. This is the company we're sending it to. Make sure you do your test. Make sure you do it properly. And then send off to the laboratory. You have to be in quarantine or stay at home for 48 hours. It was a little over than 40 hours by the time we received the email to get it all clear. And then we all travelled up on the Friday. And that was it, you know. Even like when I went with the UFC, it was only 48 hours or just over in the hotel. I mean, when even Nick gave the numbers of 72 hours, I think Sam called me up and was like, dude, like, how long have I got to be home for 72 hours without leaving? It's going to kill me. You know?
I don't do Morley's delivery around here. That's the problem.
Horrendous.
Delivery.
So, and I think the other confusion seemed to be about the clean zone, but when I listened to the podcast, it just sounded like the clean zone meant that once you guys got there, nobody who was watching the show or anybody who hadn't been tested, anybody outside of the people who'd been tested and got wristbands could go into that clean zone. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah, that's correct. So they basically cordoned off around the cage. I'll probably say about 7-8 meters, probably from maybe 10 meters actually from the nearest car to the stage and the actual cage itself. And then obviously kind of behind scenes as well, where the kind of changing rooms were. I mean, fighters were basically spread out. They had 2 tents there for fighters to warm up in, and obviously there was spray and towels to wipe everything down, clean up after each person's obviously warmed up. But yeah, within that kind of clean zone, the only people are there, the medics, the judges, the officials, the fighters, one coach, and then obviously the people that were working for Contenders and the production company. So it was, as I said, it was probably less busy than what we normally get to see in terms of who's allowed where. Everyone was spread out pretty well around the cage. Obviously, your MCs, etc., were kind of sat really far back until they were kind of needed to come into the cage. And everyone within that clean zone had to have been tested for them to be able to. Sorry, Ricky Wright. That's what I said to MC. Ricky, calm down. Ricky Wright, the MC. Let me mention, okay? Okay, the master of MCs. Yeah, so everyone had to be tested that was in that safe zone. As I said, there's probably about the nearest car was probably about 10 meters. 10 meters away. And then yeah, they kind of had like benches and they cordoned it off so people couldn't come close to the cage. And the cars were spread out pretty well, if you want me to be honest with you. I think the cars had to be spread out 2 meters away from each other. Now, it doesn't mean, you know, family members that were within that car didn't kind of step out of the car, sit on their bonnets and watch the fights, mingle with each other. But, you know, the way they'd done it, they did have kind of safety precautions where they spread everyone out, security all over the place, just to ensure that people weren't grouped up in huge bunches and groups. And yeah, you know, I said most people, you know, say pretty much it was a really great night from my perspective. I thought they ran it as safe as possible in between every fight. I don't know if you guys were able to see, but they had cleaners come in specifically to clean in between every single fight, spray the whole cage down. And when they first done it, I think it's about 10 minutes or so to do it. I mean, Dan were like, look, we can't wait 10 minutes for this to happen after the announcement. So we made them come in as the fight had ended to start cleaning up, so that it kind of dried in time for the next fight to start. Otherwise, we'd have to keep the fighter standing around. So, you know, that was pretty impressive. They had like a professional cleaning company come and do that. And yeah, you know, I personally thought they you know, they ran. God, Ricky, don't start the street food. The food was good. The lamb burger was amazing at the end of the night. All right. Yeah. So, so look, I think from my perspective, it is that they probably couldn't run it. I mean, bear in mind it's an open air show as well, so you are outside already. You're not kind of cramped inside the venue, you know. So from that perspective, he's gone. I knew he's going to flop out. You see, we've lost him. See, we better call that man back over. Unreal.
So yeah, here he's coming back. Oh,
no,
his device isn't connected.
Unreal.
Oh God, we were doing so well.
We was doing so well. We played the prank on you as well, Katie, and look at that.
Dan?
Okay. What am I having?
Dan, you actually... we can't see you.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
You can hear. Why is my cat?
There we go.
Hold on.
There you are.
Well, you got to sort it out, man. This is disgraceful.
I don't know what's going on.
You're frozen, but we can hear you.
Go and get Helen's phone.
Man,
go get Helen's phone. Sort yourself out. Go get Helen's phone.
Your video's gone again.
No, do.
Go and get the wife's phone. Go and get Helen's phone.
Listen. As long as can you hear me, right? All right, listen. As long as you can hear me. All I would add to that, okay, like what Sam was saying, is that it's also at the backstage. Again, like Sam was saying, there was a safe zone. Luckily, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure you saw the show. There was mainly more kickboxing and boxing as well as like, I think there was five MMA, 4 MMA. So the warm up area for the boxers and all that was perfect. You know, it's all stand up stuff anyway. So they had lots of space to be able to warm up and whatnot. And again, we try to keep it as safe because obviously they had some coaches or some of the training partners still at the back, even though we were only allowing one coach by the cage side, just for the safety precautions and all that. We're making sure that the fighters who have had fought or fight or wanted to watch other people fight weren't, so it was.
What's that idea?
Yeah. So what was the contingency? What was the contingency plan if it rained? Because I think I saw at one point there was a tent thing.
So no, there wasn't a. So the contingency was. So we actually told the fighters when we got there. We told them in the rules that look, if it begins to rain, to the point where I start slipping or and start slipping. Okay, so we don't have a footing, and we see the fighters don't have a footing. Then unfortunately during that fight, depending on how far we've gone in the fight, so we finished 2 complete rounds out of a 3-round fight. We could have taken it to a technical decision and go to the judges' scorecard.
Okay.
If it was before the 2 rounds are complete, as we told them, it would be declared a contest. So they were fully warned before, obviously, each fight went on. Obviously, some people will be a bit nervous over that. Like, oh, God, what if it rains during my fight?
Yeah.
Thankfully, it didn't. I think we had literally a couple of spits in one of the fights in the kind of in the main event, but it really wasn't impactful at all. Like, it was absolutely fine. No one slipped or slided. It was absolutely fine. So, no, it shouldn't have been the rounds. We were trying to wipe the canvas if we could have.
If I was running the show, I would have felt really nervous about that though, because the weather was on and off all week, and it was raining. It was bad, wasn't it? Day. Yeah.
And even when we were driving up.
Especially because Dan, I spoke to on the way up, and he said it was raining on the way, and I was thinking, God, please just be good, please just be good. But amazing. And I also got to speak to Stefano Catacoli the next day, who was in the fight of the night. Absolutely amazing fight with Richard Mearns. Just like the heart that both of them showed in that fight was amazing. And how Mearns wasn't finished, I don't know. But yeah, he said that he'd been thinking about the fact that the rain and what could happen, and oh, here's Dan back.
Don't ask.
About the fact that it rained just as his fight was starting, and he was thinking, will I get to finish this fight? And then obviously it went all 3 rounds. So luckily it didn't get worse.
No, thankfully it wasn't, and it wasn't bad at all. It really was literally a light spit, and it kind of stopped and halted. But as I said, you know, they were pre-warned that, you know, if it does rain and, you know, no one's got their foot in, then unfortunately we'd have to call it no contest. Unless you get 2 completed rounds, then obviously you'll go to a judge's scorecard, technical decision.
Yeah.
It's not what anyone wants to hear, and I guess, you know, from our perspective, we just had to be open and honest rather than it happening during the fight, and then, you know, it all kicks off. Or actually, we was winning the fight, and blah blah.
They did have a precaution in place, though, didn't they, Sam? They had if it had to be, there was a cover that would have come out from underneath the screen that would go, but then it would have ruined the whole setup, like the whole with the viewer for the cars, the camera thing. So it would have, but they did have. So for the actual fights to continue, regardless of how they would have filmed it and all that, people mostly would have still hope, you know, if it all gone to plan. And it did. Touch wood, everything did go to plan. Sam didn't fall over. I didn't slip. Everything was good. So yeah, that was it was good. But I don't know if you spoke about this while I had my little hiccup. But the flies, Sam, tell her about the mosquitoes and their creepy crawling.
Oh really?
Yeah, because of the lights.
Yeah, because of the lights.
Yeah, the floodlights.
So bear in mind, so as soon as it went dark, the only light in that field was the floodlights and the screen. And I kid you not, they were like huge, weren't they? So I couldn't, but luckily enough, it wasn't affecting the fighters. It wasn't distracting them. It wasn't distracting us. So in between the fights, that, you know, they just turned the lights off quickly and it just, you know, got rid of them. But that, I was like, honestly, I'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah, and just the kind of thing that you don't anticipate and you kind of have to work with on the night.
No, it's not, and you know, like, but you know, like I said, we all managed to pull in as a team, especially like the officials, the judges, myself, the cutsman. We all pulled in and we done what we had to do, and we felt safe to be there. And because look, if I didn't feel safe, especially after coming back and from an event from Fight Island, and obviously Sam coming back from Budapest from the event that he done out there, and you know, we know how you got to be tested. It wasn't just a matter of, oh, do you feel well? Yes, no. You know, we actually had the test done, and you know, for me, you know, I know there's been some criticism about, you know, fighters getting tested and all that. Look, if they didn't test the fighters and they're just done on the goodwill of a fighter turning up, going, oh, do you feel well? Oh, your temperature seems okay. Do you think a fighter really who hasn't earned any money or hasn't had any platform to fight is going to turn around and go, oh, I'm not feeling well, by the way, today. I don't think I'm going to fight. You know, so that's why they had to put the test in place. And there was a fighter, I can't remember his name, whose test results, they were waiting for his test. So he wasn't allowed to come to the venue until his test results come back. And it came back okay. And then they allowed him to come into to drive up or be where he needed to be for the fights, you know. So, you know, it wasn't just a matter of fact of like, we're pretending to do this. So for me personally, I felt safe, and I'd like to hope that, you know, my team and Sam and everyone else felt safe to doing so as well.
They've gone above and beyond any other UK show that I know of that have been back, and also the fact that the show was outside. I feel like there's way less risk surrounding it anyway. I mean, I'm sure if 2 fighters were in, you know, who are heavy breathing on top of each other, like it can still be contracted that way. But I don't think it's the kind of mass risk that you could potentially get inside a venue. But yeah, I don't think there's any question they've done more than most shows. We've got some comments coming through. This was Ricky's first comment, and some more love off Fred.
Of course,
I love Fred.
He's the man.
Oh, and Nick had a comment for when you went off air, Dan. He said we streamed a whole show from a field, and Dan can't even get his internet in London.
Exactly that. You know what, mate? maybe you can get the Epic Studio people to come here and sort my Wi-Fi out. If you don't mind sending them down, Nick, I'd appreciate that, mate.
Nick,
Danny thinks
give
we
him a
should
pay
set up
rise,
a
Nick.
GoFundMe.
Do you know what? It's working. Look, it's working fine now. I don't know what the heck. Actually, to be fair, you're right. I did, as Sam said, I had to go and use my wife's phone. So I'm on my wife's phone at the moment.
Peter told you to do that.
Yeah, I know. It might be just, I don't know. Everything else was working. I don't know. It is what it is. So from now on,
I love the way it always works in testing.
I know. Well, yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
But, you know,
it's just
so
as well that Ricky wasn't officiating because he was happy to get wet and wild, baby.
Yeah, of course.
He said it was biblical on the M25 on the way down.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just...
Yeah, it was. It really was.
Because Sam obviously he was worrying a little bit, weren't you? You're like, oh my god, it's going to rain, it's going to piss down. I'm like, dude, like let's not say that, because the last thing, because again, like Sam was saying, if a fight was to be called off, who's the guys you're going to be calling off? Is one of me or Sam? Who's going to be going, sorry, mate, you're not invited tonight, and you're going to be the bad guys, you know?
You used to being the bad guys, though, right?
Yeah, a little.
Sometimes.
Kev wants to know why Sam's pretending to be healthy drinking water.
Who said it's vodka? It can be vodka, mate. Might not be water.
Listen, there's definitely not vodka. This guy who has a beer, you know, you taste it, it's like it's that much beer in it and that much lemonade, you know, it's a shandy, you know. So definitely, he knows it's definitely not vodka, you know. No, but yeah, okay. Let's get back on subject. But yeah, you're right. You're saying, you know, like I'm glad they tested the fight. Same way as like, you know, Cage Warriors are coming up end of September. They're doing the same. You know, we got be up there on the Monday, quarantine for 2 days, and they tested all the fighters and whatnot. You know, I think if you're gonna have an event on, you gotta test them, not just heat test or anything like that. You've got to actually send the results away to a laboratory and make sure on the day that fight is fighting, it's cleared and he's got no signs of it whatsoever at that time. So I think that's a safe way of doing it.
I think, yeah, but also we need to look at it that it's their first show back as well, and there's a lot they're going to learn from it as well. So, you know, as I said, from our perspective, you know, I thought they've done a great job, you know, in terms of testing, safe zone, the cleaning, actually putting a show on with an audience. But as I said, you know, I'm sure Nick, you know, if he's watching, he'll probably take some learning himself and implement it for the next one. It's only going to get better from here, right?
Yeah. Peter wants to know if you've got a message for he says haters, I'll say the critics who, and I don't know if they were slagging off contenders, but had some criticism.
Look, I'm not. Look, at the end of the day, first and foremost, look, we're officials. We work for loads of different shows. So for me to say, you know, people slagging, look, everyone's going to have their opinion. At the end of the day, for me, and I'm sure anyone else who wants to chime in can chime in. And I know some of the fighters who were there, if there wasn't testing, I would not have been there, period. If there wasn't like proper COVID testing where the lab's going to test me and see if I'm okay. And you know, if I wasn't, because look, at the end, this is the bit I want to make a point as well. We all got told and we all understood and we all signed a letter to say that we adhere to the rules of like having to quarantine or isolate for 2 days till our results come back. That if we have any symptoms, to let them know and don't just turn up. We will be, you know, held accountable. Just same as the way I signed like a form for the UFC. That, you know, if I've had any symptoms while I was out there and I didn't disclose it to anybody and I turned up to the event and I ended up with COVID and spread it to everyone else, I was held accountable. You know, so for me personally, if I didn't feel safe to be there to work, look, most of us have been out of officiating work for a good couple of months. It wasn't just the fact, oh look, there's a gig coming up, let me go and officiate. Yeah, if that was the case, you know, you'd go and I don't know what's the other one going up, QFC or what the fuck it is up north that they're putting on. Do you know what I mean?
Don't even start that. Don't even start.
Exactly. But my point is that if I wouldn't have gone there if I didn't feel safe and I didn't feel that they put the right precautions as much as they could in place, and that for me to be around other people, like especially coming back from an event like I did and like Sam had, it would be stupid. You know, I've got kids, family, wife. You know, it'd be fucking stupid to take a shot.
So do other people, right? Yeah. So do some of the fighters, and we don't. You know, from my perspective, I wouldn't want to put in a risk. If I had been tested, it's one of those where I would have probably, I agree with Dan. We wouldn't have done it, not just from our safety, but for the safety of others, just to ensure that, we can't affect anyone.
So Peter's made the point that government guidelines say you don't, it's not mandatory to test.
Look, that is mostly correct. But look, man, if you're, like I said, if you're going to put an event on, I'm sure contenders felt that way, and if you're going to follow suit like the UFC and like Cage Warriors are doing, then you do the testing. It's just, it's for peace of mind of, look, bad enough that the criticism shows get anyway for putting a show on during this time, right? So imagine putting a show on and contenders not. So they got the criticism that they did by doing the tests. Imagine they just turn around and go, "Oh, we're just doing temperature check." Then you can imagine the comments 10 times more of people slagging them off,
Yeah.
But me, certainly, I wouldn't have just turned up with a temperature check. No way. Not in the environment, and not with the limelight and the attention that was on that event, being the first UK show. And that's why they must have done it as well. Being the first UK show back on UK soil for them to put this on during the COVID times, they were like, fuck it, we gotta fork out the money, and we gotta pay for the testing, and we gotta do what we gotta do to make it happen,
Yeah, it must have cost an absolute fortune, that event. I know that Nick said that you could buy a house for the cost of the screen that they were showing the
it was a pretty impressive screen. I'm not going to lie, it was a pretty impressive screen. I would say the one benefit of doing it outdoors, it wasn't so hot outside, was it, in the cage, was it, Sam?
Thank God for that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But going back to Peter's point, Peter's right. It's not on the government guidelines. But like I said, maybe just because it was the first show back, they just wanted everything in place and do what they want to do. And maybe going forward, maybe you don't have to now. Maybe there'll be more shows just doing the temperature checks. But again, at the end of the day, the fighters, the officials, the coaches, everyone's got to be honest on the day. Should you have any symptoms, you've got to let them know, regardless. Because no fighter's going to turn around and go, especially if you're a professional fighter and that's your way of living. 9 times out of 10, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they'll turn around and go, actually, I'm not feeling well. Bad enough some fighters don't disclose a concussion that they've had or been knocked down in the gym. Sam, you fat fucker. The fuck. Jesus.
What is it?
It's another COVID test. He's frozen, isn't he?
Now.
He's frozen. I'm telling you, it must be this platform. I'm adamant it's this platform, but Peter's going to tell me differently now.
That's more like it, Sam.
Hey, Kevin knows. Look, he's going to come. I bet he comes back. Oh, look, he's got another one in his hand. That's the second one.
I ain't got another one. Same one.
Yeah.
What is it? A Magnum?
No, it's a Biscoff. That's what I say. Ricky, you'd be proud of this one. Look at that. And you, Kevin, probably. Biscoff ice cream. Legendary.
COVID test. And because you froze, Peter thinks you've just eaten your router. A little goodbye message from Fred. He's got to get back to work, but just wanted to say how lucky I am to have Dan and Sam as my mentors in MMA. They're truly amazing and hardworking individuals who love this great sport. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
You know, Fred. What? We're lucky to have people like Fred as well, who love to learn, passionate about the sport. So, I say we're probably more lucky to have people like Fred who just want to kind of learn and be part of the sport and help grow it as well.
Yeah.
Did that answer all the questions you needed, Kate? I mean, I think, look, man, like I said, there was a lot surrounding it, but like I said, going forward, I'm sure we're going to see more events popping up, and whether it's with or without crowd. But it'd be interesting times. So I'm looking forward to it.
And Nick actually said that this was in the works, even very early stages of lockdown, and potentially they were going to put them on every year.
Yeah, I mean, he's got crazy ideas. Look, man, they were going to take their show to Florida, but unfortunately, due to COVID, it didn't happen. and hopefully, you know, well, I say hopefully, as soon as they can get stuff out there sorted. I know they're in talks with their company out in Florida. Once that's sorted, I'm sure they'll get everyone out there to fight. But yeah, I think now that you think about it, what a great idea to do, especially in the summer. I mean, obviously it's a bit costly, but what a cool experience to sit in the car and watch a fight. It's different, you know. It's pretty cool. You know, the best thing about it is you don't have to have so many breaks to get the bar take up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we did say for anyone who is interested, there was no alcohol on sale because it was a drive-in event. So
yes, exactly.
There was some street food, but no.
Yeah.
Drink and drive. Yeah, we didn't want to promote that.
Exactly.
Yeah, makes sense. What else did I want to ask you about? I think that was pretty much it on the event. Dan, you were off when I was talking about the fight of the night. You probably gathered that was what I was talking about when I said it started spitting at the beginning of the Richard Mann Stefano Catacoli fight. What a fight that was!
You know what? That was a banging fight, you know, and obviously Sam had the pleasure of being an officiant, looking after the fighters, and you know, it just again, what surprised me and what amazes me, that obviously doing for guys, especially in the UK region, and I know you watched Celtic Gladiators last night. And you were saying about the undercard, about the amateurs coming up and fighting on there. Is that how these guys and girls have managed to still train and still keep fit and just bring it, you know, bring the best fights that they can bring, because they know that, you know, they don't know when they're going to fight next. They don't know when the next event's going to be on, you know, and where and when would they be able to fight, you know. So it did feel like that everyone in there and everyone in the cage put their heart and soul into it, win or lose, you know, and I thought that's good. And you know, again, like you said about the undercard, we were talking off camera about the Celtic Gladiators undercard, like the amateur guys and girls who were fighting on there. Again, it's amazing how many people are still training, how many people, whether it be in their back garden, because I know Jack Mason was saying that he was, when he was training Conor McKenna, is his home, I believe, right, in his backyard, with a couple of selected people, or the people that were flying out to go to Vegas. You know, you make it happen, you know, and for me, someone who loves the sport as much as, you know, as much as I'm sure any other official as a fan does, I love seeing that, you know. It's absolutely fantastic to see the guys and girls, you know, still training and putting it all in the cage.
Yeah, and for me as well, it's great to find people finding ways to put these shows on so they can get back to doing what they love, because, you know, like 6 months is a long time away from training and away from the bright lights, and I just love to watch this type of MMA. I'm just beyond delighted that it's coming back and people are getting an opportunity.
Well, UK at the moment are lucky. Like, we had Contenders, then you had Celtic, and then obviously we've got Cage Warriors coming out.
Cage Warriors coming up.
If I've missed anything, I'm sorry, but yeah, you know, again, that Cage Warriors one's 3 days. You know, 3 days on the trot. You know, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that's a banging card. There's talks of other promotions putting shows on as well. And you know, so,
there's Probellum at the beginning of September, and then you've got Evolution of Combat is up in Scotland in September, and then you've got Fight Star at the end of the year. I don't know if there's UKFC in October. So people are trying their best to put on shows, and I'm so grateful to them for doing it, and I'm so grateful for you guys for officiating it. And it's for me, I'm just delighted to see things moving and happening, and you know,
it's good.
Yeah.
Sorry, back to some normality, right?
Yeah, normality. So I can't believe you got to shake the front to fucking eat ice cream.
The interview's been
Katie's burger and your roast. You both can't talk, right?
Half an hour.
Couldn't.
Hold on. 1 second.
What are you putting in?
Mate, this was Katie's burger earlier. Right? I'm naming and shaming her, okay?
Fair enough. Fair enough. But hold on. Well, if Peter's still watching, Peter had the challenge for us, didn't he, Sam? The Jaffa cake.
Yes.
Mate, you've got a challenge first to save your back.
Who could eat more Jaffa cakes in 1 minute?
All right, we got to test that out. Me and Sam will do that, and we'll send it to you.
Yeah, but please video it. You've got to finish one before you can put the next one in, and no drinks for the whole minute.
Okay. That Sam,
Dan, you know you're going to win that. Don't even try it. You're going to eat it slow like that.
I'm leaning towards Sam on this one.
Oh, thanks. Jeez.
Trust me, I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's all good. But yeah.
Well, Sam won't even open the box.
Oh, my jaw. Oh.
Well,
Can we
Sam,
go to some more contenders question since Nick wants to start, yeah?
Peter said he got to 4, but he couldn't stop laughing because he was drunk. he just couldn't do anymore. It's nothing about being drunk. Absolute bullshit. Amazing. Well, guys, thank you so much for your time. It's always such a pleasure catching up with you. So what's next for you guys? Dan, you're refereeing at Cage Warriors in September, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I'll just find out if I'm going up there on the Monday or the Tuesday, and how long we've got quarantine for. But yeah, I'm up there. I've got the pleasure of being there and officiating some top fights that I've seen announced. So yeah, looking forward to that. The
card for that looks incredible. I'm so excited for that.
But again, that's another twit. Like, all right, done Fight Island, done 4 events in 2 weeks, but to do events Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, that's going to be interesting. It's going to be. I think my adrenaline is going to just be up and down. You know.
I'm absolutely devastated. There's no press for those events because I just think it would be amazing. I'd need a week off to sleep afterwards.
But you know, but with press and all that, I mean, obviously, I'm sure you know you'll be able to obviously watch it on I think it's Fight Pass they're putting on, so you'll be able to watch it on there and yeah, just give your results and interview the guys and girls like you have been. I think it's been pretty cool that you've been doing the interviews, you know, like Whitaker on here a couple of weeks ago, and you know, different fighters being able to talk to. I think it's pretty cool to do on this platform as well.
Thank you.
Did you do the Celtic Gladiators one as well?
Did I do
the Celtic Gladiators interview?
Somebody from MMA UK did post fight.
Oh, well done, yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty cool. That was really good.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Chris says he thinks me and Sam have the same nutrition.
living a good life then, Chris. Living a good life.
Oh, brilliant. Guys, it's so great to catch up with you. If I don't see you before, I'm hoping at Fight Star we might be allowed people in by then.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. I think Raj is waiting for the go ahead, isn't he, Sam, or something? He's waiting to sort something out.
I spoke to him. Yeah, I spoke to him last week. There's if we get a go ahead, it might be a double header show, but let's see. I don't know if I was meant to expose that, by the way. Was it?
I just had a message that I exposed something I shouldn't have as well.
Listen. Sam's hoping it's a double header show.
Maybe.
So that he can get fed for double as well.
You can fed me twice, yeah. Feed me them samosas, Raj. I said, Raj, don't clean them up before I get to
your favourite show for food?
Oh, favourite show
Raj
for food?
Goes backstage and eats them, yeah. Well, it depends. No, I don't know. Depends. I do like when we go when we go to Bellator and stuff. You know, we can go out and eat whatever we want. Yeah, that's a tough one now. Actually, okay, you put me on the spot there. That's tough. What do you mean when?
When have we been out to eat whatever we want? When I said, Sam, come on, let's go and have a bit of
No, but when we go to restaurants and stuff.
Let's go.
It means whatever he wants. No,
whatever he wants.
Yeah, whatever I want. Yeah.
Peter says he prefers no audience. How do you guys feel about it now, having done both?
It's you know what, I do like actually being able to listen to the fight and actually be able to listen to everything in real time. It's different. I don't mind it either way, to be honest. Obviously, you know, I say the audience are there more to encourage the fighters. It doesn't impact us. We're not there for the audience perspective. But from my perspective, no audience, I can listen to things a lot better, a lot clearer. Either way, it doesn't really faze me. I guess it's just, we'd be able to hear the fights a lot better and be able to kind of hear the impact of the shots a lot clearer.
Yeah. Feel the same, Dan?
Yeah, same. I like it, but doing it's I can't explain. Like when I done the O2 with 20,000 people screaming out and with fighters walking out, it is something cool. But at the same time, with no fans, it's pretty different. And also just done one with people just sitting in their cars, tooting their horns and flashing the lights was a different thing as well. Fighters walking out and people, their fans there beeping their horns and shouting out, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It reminded me of, like I said, it reminded me of was it Jean-Claude Van Damme's Absent Without Leave. There's a bit in the car park, isn't there, when he's fighting someone with the and all the cars are parked up and he's doing bare knuckle or fight. That's what it reminded me of.
And Chris said no wooing is always a plus. That's been my major plus point of not having a crowd. That drives me nuts. I should have told you that.
Brilliant.
Oh, anybody else you want to shout out or give a thank you to or name off the top of your head before we go?
No, I mean, obviously Mauler, Figure 8, these guys have obviously looked after us for a while now. If you don't know about them, just definitely check their stuff out.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, the promoters that are trying, there you go, Mauler. The Figure 8 guys. I know, listen, it's, these promoters have got to work twice as hard nowadays to put an event on, to try and make it safe, because they don't want to be the first one in the limelight that's going to basically be the one that's spread any sort of kind of COVID-19. So, fair play to these guys, and obviously the fighters that are still training at the moment. If it ain't for these guys training, competing, then there wouldn't be no shots on, right? So, just shout out to everyone really that's involved in the scene, that's trying to make the scene continue and keep that wheel turning, and hopefully, towards the end of the year, early 2021, we should start seeing things back to normality, and start having kind of more regular shows back on for the UK scene to start growing again.
Yeah.
When you shouted out Mauler, then I thought it was Morley's. You gave a thank you to.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Sound like some Morley's, but yeah. I'll second what Sam said again. Again, thanks to everyone who supported us. Again, our fellow officials as well, judges, the fans, yourself, media, everyone. At the end of the day, first and foremost, we're fans of the sports as well. And we love the sport that we do. Just trying to keep it ticking over, keep the interest in the game. That's it's not just one person doing it. It's not just one place doing it. It's everyone from media to audio to fans, to officials, to the fighters, to the coaches, whatever it may be. So yeah, thanks for everyone still making it possible to be able to officiate the fights and be able to enjoy some of the fights.
And thank you to the people prepared to lose money on shows as well to put them on. I'm very grateful.
Sam's got a smirk on his face. Go on, what?
No, I haven't actually. I was just going to
Nick
say,
said, don't talk with your mouth full.
I've finished. All right, there you go. I was going to say last shout out for so we like this week. Sadly attended Jay Shepherd's funeral, so I just want to give one last shout out to him and his family as well. It was a moving funeral, and he's a great guy. If anyone obviously knows him, what's been around him, kind of the energy he brings into a room. And that last Contenders event was quite emotional, because the last time we was there, obviously the main event was Jay winning his welterweight title, and he's obviously destined to kind of progress on. And it's unfortunate what's happened, but hopefully he rests in peace. And we just want to give a shout out to him and his family as well.
It's unbelievable to me how many lives he's touched, how many fighters I know that have changed their profile picture to a picture of him, how many people attended his funeral, just like how many lives he touched and how loved he was on this scene. So I wish I'd known him better, but I know they did a lovely moving tribute to him at Contenders as well.
Yes, they did. And, again, he's in peace now, and sending playing love to his family, and like you said, that's why people I'll leave it on this, that people who love to criticize fighters and with the job that they do, you don't know how they've touched other people and what positive impact they've had. So think twice before you jump on that Twitter, jump on that Instagram and want to mouth off about someone. And, you know, you don't know how it's going to affect them, you know, and, you know, then you're going to be the one, you know, once that person's gone, shit, you know, they did touch my life in a way, or I'll miss it, or I'll never be able to see them fight again. Because, you know, he was on a good roll as well, you know.
Yeah.
You know, he had big things planned for him. But, you know, that being said, he's in, you know, in heaven now, hopefully. And you know, again, like Sam said, it was a moving funeral. I couldn't believe how much support he had. I mean, it was in the hundreds, and I was like, wow, this is amazing, you know. For someone for someone to be able to, you know, spread so much love to so many people. Different generations were there as well, you know, from youngsters to elderly. It was moving to watch, and I'm glad that Sam and I got the opportunity to go there and say a piece with him.
Yeah, what a lovely note to end on. You know, he's not the first time he's been mentioned on one of my interviews. Like I said, he's touched so many people. So yeah, may he rest in peace.
He will rest in peace, and you know, like I said, I'm going to put it at this because I always like to leave on a good note. It was still a pain in my ass because every time he saw me, Dan, you're not reffing my fight, are you? I'm like, because there was a fight where I stopped his fight, and he was, oh, but I was okay and all that. I'm like, okay, dude, like whatever, you know, jokingly. Every time he'll give me and Sam grief every time, you know, and again. He will
give me grief. He will give me grief. He always wanted me to ref him. He gave you grief.
You know,
Sam, you're virtually in the dark now.
He is. He just doesn't want to see you eating out of a burger or whatever he's got in his hand. All right, listen. I tell you why he's in the dark, because look, I haven't paid my Wi-Fi bill. He hasn't paid his electricity bill. So.
Oh my God. Well, you two, thank you so much for your time. I can't wait till the next time I see you in person. Hopefully it will be at an event soon, but take care, stay doing all that good stuff, and I'll see you soon.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for your time, guys. Thank you.